Jade, by a novel by Gwen Davis. My cat threw it across the room. Wants to go read his book. Cat wants to read the book. I threw it across the room. Wants the book read to him. Cat wants to be able to read his book. Cat threw the book across the room because he wants me to read the book. Exteriors flashing back on the sun already blazing day. Nobody had stopped building just because the fears that gripped the colony about the future. The government could not be counted on to keep its word that Hong Kong would stay capitalist for 50 years. Jackhammers hadn't stopped splintering the never would be science. Science was more ominous than death to the Chinese, carrying with it the message that no one was making money. So building continued, even though there were no guarantees of what they were building for. Structures with no sense to them. Building codes had no restrictions, unlike sexual ethics. Chinese father would have beaten his daughter had she taken a lever, as Betsy had done. This availability of prostitutes in Hong Kong is a large part so that no one would debauch a good girl. So Clement could feel Elizabeth Heather Evans being dismissed as a spirit by a large part of the congregation assembled at St. John's Cathedral. Even as her body was laid to rest, where the Reverend spoke of the light that had been extinguished, Clement stood at the rear, watching people shifting uncomfortably on the wooden benches. He could read through the back of their heads to the thoughts inside of how very proper it all was. Young and fair of countenance as Betsy David had been, they had lusted. Filthy as it was a crime committed against them, Clement was sure the message of the minds of many had been sexuality had brought the evil on them. The Bible stands supporting the text for which the minister read as a bronze eagle with outspread wings, metal feathers buttressing the oversized volume. The flowers that nearly obscured the vast altar, mostly pink and yellow, so it looked the colors of baby shower. Because the circumstances surrounding the deaths, the condition of the bodies, both coffins were closed. Above the finely carved walnut caskets fluttered low-hanging wood-bladed fans, whooshing through the pauses of the minister's words like sighs. Slowly revolving shadow from the blades sent a Markheimer air to the proceedings, ghost of a better time, when both the empire and the authors had the true weight. As a lover of literature in this country, Clement mourned the mounting ineffectuality of both, but also mourned the children, for he had known neither of them. He had passing acquaintance with the girl's mother. Hong Kong is a small town, and Maggie was in her way a celebrity. Very much in evidence, larger than life. But larger than death, he looked at the back of his sweat-darkened yellow hair and wondered how she would survive it. Wondered how he himself would survive the death the child had never had to might. Been the same age, going through Kensington Academy if a policeman could afford it. Through the stained glass window, the southeast of a May morning, sunlight streamed, illuminating Christ, calming the waters. Left panel of triptychs to the British seaman on the right. Two sampans and a barefoot woman in a coolie hat. Along the dark wood walls hung crashed unpainted shields, pigment flaking and darkened. Great names of England: Wakefield, Derby, Manchester, Bradford, Coventry, Truro, by the fans in the early morning hour. He had already oppressed it with humidity, wilting, even though it seemed devastating by events. Clement see Maggie's shoulder blades through the wet back of her blouse. So there's something like the spirit of some dead women now. Like they sacrificed Diana, they said. Cathedral was unusually full. Even Sunday services were mainly conducted. Chapel at the front, the few faithful and possibly God would not be made uncomfortable by small numbers. There was an impressive turnout for the funeral with at least one of these parents. Nearly all of them had children of a shocked silence, white-faced, white-knuckled beside their elders. Clement saw the pale, thin-fingered hand of Nicholas Evans, girl's father, move along the back of the wooded bench and come to a comforting rest of his ex-wife's shoulder. She shrugged him off, brushed the place where his hand had been with a gesture of... Yet Clement wondered, would the girl still be alive? He had seen all those afternoons at the Clipper Lounge of the Mandarin Hotel, looking so much the stylish perfect colonial family, sipping their high tea, Maggie pouring the girl, devouring any tiny sandwiches. Maggie playfully slapping her hand on the un-Englishness of a zesty appetite. Had that been a charade, how pleased they were with the life they seemed, how they comfortably with the elegance of afternoon tea at that glittering high cascaded lobby they looked. How long, limb, and such Maggie had appeared. The ease with her new great success. There had been their face of the loathing expressed, with just a gesture brushing the comforting hand away. The girl's face, Betsy's beautiful face, like an unlined cookie-cutter version of Maggie's own pale oval, complete contentment with the setting, the sandwiches, the life that she had. What if her parents had never been divorced? Would she have been taking tea that fatal afternoon instead of making a fruity love on the hillside? Was her sexual indulgence more than to loosen blood of adolescence hunger? Not only be satisfied by sandwiches, was it the reaction to her family's coming apart? Okay, well, tea and little ladylike sandwiches. People who want to start shift people. Okay, they were running out of Hong Kong because of the tea. Tea and lady sandwiches for young kids who want to go write about this stuff. They really want to write this stuff. Okay, girls who really want to go buck wild, they really pressure people to go put up with. They really want to be a total slut, totally promiscuous. They pressure people like the boss from hell who really wants to say stuff. They write about it, go on about because they want to. Tea and little sandwiches, that was very English. They really pressure people so your typical white person really wants to say stuff to me.